Hello and welcome back, all my Dragon Ball theorists. Many animes and ways have contradictions as the story evolves. Something is impossible until of course our hero does it, or there is just someone that comes along and disobeys all the laws. Whis has stated that there is nothing that Lord Beerus can't erase, living or dead. We accepted this as the power of a God of Destruction as their divine role in the universe. Then we learn of the existence of a mortal that even his God of Destruction can't defeat. Initially we thought it was insane and it doesn't make sense except in episode 126 where we have the epic conclusion of Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta vs God of Destruction Toppo. We saw Vegeta demonstrate a power by encasing his fist in his ascended blue energy, actually cancelling out Hakai energy, punching right through it, a feat of strength that no mortal should be able to do, but Vegeta did it. Of course, this is that contradiction, and there are things that even a God of Destruction can't erase. We can't really compare Toppo though, fresh off his God training and just learning to use Hakai, to Beerus' power, who has been a God of Destruction for millions of years. However, it showed for us visually how Jiren, who's the strongest mortal, can defeat his God of Destruction for Mod. We learned that power alone can cancel out even the Hakai power of the gods, which makes me ask the question, are there things Zeno can't erase? I have talked about this topic before in a video a very long time ago called False Gods and how Zeno is supposed to be the supreme being who sits on top of the multiverse, except as Dragon Ball Super has gone on, Zeno is showing more and more weaknesses, that there are things beyond his scope of abilities and power. A short list of things we would expect the Omni King to be able to do but can't are, first, not being able to follow Dispo's movements in a super fast fight. People for some reason will counter-argue, well that is because Zeno isn't a fighter, which doesn't make much sense. You are either the god of everything or you are not. If you are really all-powerful, there really isn't anything you can't see or do. Which brings us to the fact that we have two Zenos now, and this kinda tarnished the entire Supreme Being role. How can there actually be two Omni Kings, which clearly means they aren't above time? Dragon Ball Super has 7 timelines now, which means there are 7 total Zenos out there. Something crazy to think about. We should get them all together for a tournament of power across every timeline. Kidding, of course. Next on this list is relying on the Grand Priest to observe the multiverse. They aren't omniscient, which you would think comes with the title Omni King. So as the show goes on, there could be more things that contradict what these supposed supreme rulers can and can't do. They rely on the Grand Priest as their attendant who functions much like Whis does for Beerus, guiding the Zenos when needed or just keeping them entertained so they aren't erasing things. Finally, why even have bodyguards? Not even going to go into that topic as I have done entire videos just on them. So what else can Zeno not do? Is the show going to continue like we are seeing right now in the manga and we will learn they aren't as supreme as we thought? Are there things right now that Zeno can't erase? First, let's take a look into this ability itself. The best example of Zeno's power was against the immortal, multiversal Zamasu, who was becoming the universe and even starting to bleed through time itself. Goku fortunately had the Zeno button to summon the Omni King, which is interesting that the one that gave him the button didn't come. Zeno asked Goku, "Who are you?" They just can't cross timelines on their own, I guess. Regardless of that, Zeno was made aware of Zamasu and said a world like this can't exist. Everyone had to get out of there immediately as the strongest display of power happened in all of Dragon Ball. The Immortal Zamasu and that timeline was erased in its entirety. Yes, Immortal Multiversal Zamasu was this being that ascended past what Goku and Vegeta could do in destroying him at that time. However, both Whis and Beerus, while they commented on his energy that was coming through to their timeline as unpleasant, they didn't seem at all worried in the least about his power. In fact, Beerus has shown more concern with Jiren's power than that of multiversal Zamasu, which is why it was no surprise that he was easily erased despite being immortal. Zamasu lacked the most important thing, which was power and immunity to this technique. So Zeno's power is without question the most impressive we've seen so far, then demonstrating it over and over again with ease in the tournament with a squish of his hands, deleting entire universes. Except, was what Zeno did absolute? Is there nothing that can actually rival this ability of being erased and be immune to it? This topic was debated for months until we learned that the Super Dragon Balls can actually restore everything that was erased, even though this ability is different than killing someone with power alone. When you are erased, you are just no more. You are wiped out of existence. There is no afterworld for you. The fact that these Super Dragon Balls can undo Zeno's erasing ability shows us there really is no limit to their wishing power. Which leads us to the debate: if Zamasu used all-powerful Dragon Balls to wish for immortality, then why was Zeno able to erase him? This question itself leads to the answer of things that Zeno can't erase. Remember earlier I said it comes down to power and immunity. To further look deeper into Zeno's erasing ability, everything in each universe is erased right down to an object belonging to a fighter is very interesting. So this ability isn't just about power, but Zeno is able to erase everything connected to what he wants erased. No questions asked. It's far different than just an attack you launch at someone. If Zeno is erasing your universe, you can't simply hide in another one. You are tied to that universe and will be deleted by Zeno. There's no escaping it. If Hit is in Universe 7 and Zeno erases Universe 6, then Hit will also be erased. However, the Angels have been spared this fate. As Whis says, his position is much different than yours, Lord Beerus. It's because of their divine role. Or what if it's not just their role, but their divine power that makes them unable to be erased? They have an immunity to such a technique because everything in Dragon Ball is balanced. Nothing is absolute. So the Angels weren't spared this fate, they are just immune to this ability. As an angel, they are above the universe itself and not specifically tied to it. Therefore, it isn't within Zeno's power to erase them. They are a guide of the gods and come from the world beyond. If a universe or the God of Destruction is destroyed, they simply return to this world beyond, until they are needed again. It is a level of control to keep balance in the universe. Also perhaps one of the reasons that the Super Dragon Balls were one of the first things created in the universe, was to offer another means to balance Zeno. To reset everything. We saw them used in this manner at the end of the tournament, with Zeno showing limitations and the Grand Priest looking more of the part of a true Supreme Being in the multiverse. It makes sense that Zeno can't erase them. Then if for some reason Zeno loses his temper and erases the entire timeline, the Grand Priest as Zeno's attendant can simply gather all the Dragon Balls and restore all that was erased. This gives him an ability to truly be a guide to Zeno and make sure life and balance in the universe continues. So the Angels are the first thing immune to being erased, and this brings us to the second, the Super Dragon Balls. Despite being directly tied to Universe 6 and 7, when Zeno erased Universe 6, destroying everything linked to that universe, the Super Dragon Balls remained. He simply just can't erase them with his ability, which makes sense since they can reverse his ability. They were created with divine power to fill any wish. Divine power like the Angels, except with no limit and immunity to Zeno. A way of balance to do a hard reset if needed. So is it possible to have enough power to be immune to even Zeno erasing you? No, not by natural means. Whis is trying to help Goku and Vegeta see this world beyond with their training, but they aren't going to attain any divine angel power anytime soon. We still need to uncover the Angels' origins, what this world of the beyond is, and Zalama who created the Super Dragon Balls. Dragon Ball Super arcs could go on for a long time before we get to that part. Until then, for someone besides an angel to be immune from being erased by Zeno, the only way would be to gather the Super Dragon Balls and make a wish specifically to be immune to Zeno's erasing technique, something that is well within the Super Dragon's power. Well, these are the things that are immune to Zeno's erasing ability. The Angels, the Super Dragon Balls, and anyone lucky enough to gather them all and make a wish to be immune to Zeno's erasing technique. Kinda makes you wonder, maybe this is why Champa keeps seeking them out over and over again. Maybe he just doesn't want to be erased. Now I understand a video like this can create tons of cross arguments and discussions, and I ask to kindly discuss that in the comments below. The reason why I said things that Zeno can't erase explained in the title is because there is a mountain of evidence to support that. One of the biggest arguments is what happened to the previous erased 6 universes then? What of their angels? First, if they needed to be restored, they could be. Second, as explained, the angels of those universes just return to the world beyond until they are needed again. So hopefully I laid out enough information to explain Zeno's erasing ability and also explain what is actually immune to such a technique. In Dragon Ball, everything needs to be balanced. Hope everyone is enjoying their week. I put a lot of time and effort into this video, so I really hope you enjoyed it. I always love to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share it and smash that like button. It really does help tremendously right now on YouTube, taking the time to leave a comment and like with the way things have been lately with all these issues YouTubers have been having. Also, please subscribe to support the channel and turn on that notification bell to keep those theories coming.